Salutations, this is Neapolitan, back at it again with another YouTube video. This time is my January 2025 update. Yes, it is March as of recording this, and I'm sure it's going to take a few days to edit and all that. I'm hoping I can catch up this month, get February out a couple weeks, a week or two, and then just start working on March and winter 2025 at the end of March and beginning of April. So I'm hoping I can catch up. This episode, I did want to say I didn't watch a lot, to be honest. I only watched eight instead of 10, the usual 10. 10's for the monthly challenge, but I ended up using a couple of the seasonals I binge watched for the challenge, so I didn't want to add those here. I just added them to the fall update. So only 8 this time. I wanted to say I didn't watch that great of stuff, but looking at it, I have 3 pretty strong ones. We'll see. And then I also wanted to speak about Kirishima from, I believe that's his name, right? Yeah, Kirishima from Yakuza Fiance. I wanted to make note about this guy's closed eyes, derpy smile. I'm going to put up a picture right now. And I couldn't for the life of me find where I saw something similar to that because I wanted to make the comparison. But I finally saw it again as I saw a clip on YouTube. When he does that smile, he reminds me of a Korone Suki, which is one of Korone's fans. It's a fan name. And I'm going to have the comparison, but it just looks I just couldn't stop thinking about that whenever he did that smile. But yeah, I just wanted to note that. As always, timestamps below. My anilist is in my YouTube bio because I can't have links in my description. And yeah, let's just get into it. First up is One Piece TV special, Umi no Heso no Daibouken-hen. It's an alright TV special. It has this really strong feeling of meaningless filler. And it's just what is the point to this? But, I love One Piece. I plan to watch everything One Piece, even the recap movies, unfortunately. But I've been going back watching the filler I skipped. I'm not including this or the movies or whatever when I'm saying I'm going back to watch the filler, the actual filler in the 1,000 episode show. And I've really found an appreciation for the pre-time skip feeling and comedy. I mean, I always liked the pre-time skip and comedy, but for the filler as well. I understand why people complain about filler, and maybe it's just because One Piece is my favorite. But I've just been laughing my butt off, enjoying the dumb filler that I skipped over. But this special is essentially the crew. There's only 5 of them so far. It's up to Sanji. They get caught in this whirlwind pool, and 3 of them, Sanji, Usopp, Nami, go down to get the treasure because they find this glass bottle with a letter in it. So they go down to go look for the treasure that's down below, and they kind of get dragged down by an octopus. So then the whole ship goes down. And then, Luffy and Zoro get dragged down with it. And, they get dragged into, this underwater city area. Which is, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of similar to, Fishman Island, but not at the same time. Because it's, it's kind of like a cave. I don't know. So, we get to see, the 2 different groups. We get Sanji's fighting the octopus. The other 2 have to go because Sanji needs a rest. And then, Luffy and Zoro are, wandering around. The fights were fine. I really liked Zoro's fight as he has to fight this monster that came from the mountain, and he doesn't have his swords, so he has to use rusted swords that break after 1 hit because they're rusted, and he has to keep switching. So I thought that was a pretty cool fight. Other fights were pretty meh. The villain Captain Joke is just the typical pirate wanting treasure, and he was trying to convince the crew to go get the treasure to release his spirit so then he can go back to his original body, which is turned into a skeleton. So it's kind of like Brook before Brook, if he was like just the typical evil pirate that wants treasure. The whole village story was like, that was okay. I mean, I feel like there's better filler stories outside of this. I'd say this is just mainly worth the watch for the comedy, and if you like really love One Piece and want even more. So I'll leave it in B tier. I feel like it'd be harsh to put it in C, but yeah, we'll leave it in B. Next up is SSS.GRIDMAN. This was a good, decent show. Good slash decent. I was honestly expecting more, but after seeing that the average score was like 7, my expectations went down a bit. But I still had a solid, decent time watching this. Uh, Opening was fun. I enjoyed it a lot, especially like when it played during like the middle of during the middle of some of the fights. Ending was nice too. Animation, gorgeous, but that's to be expected as this was made by Trigger. Uh, Art style was nice and clean. I didn't mind the CGI for Gridman and the kaiju fights. Characters wise, I'd say this is where it slacks the most. So I guess we'll just start there. Main guy, Yuta Hibiki, doesn't really have much going for him. Doesn't remember anything about himself or others as Gridman. Others as Gridman is like possessing him. It's not the right term, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But he basically forgot everything as like he's now hosting Gridman in this world. It's kind of like Ultraman, I think. Yeah. Um so he's trying to figure things out to just like remember about himself and others. He doesn't really gain any character throughout or even at the end, and he also has a very boring design. Super indifferent about him. I just don't really care. I would say he's kind of pathetic, but I feel like that would be a bit mean. Sho Me is also pretty meh. He's supposedly Yuta's best friend. He also has a boring design, and he has the very typical stereotype of a guy with anime glasses. He doesn't like contribute like anything, in my opinion. Like I feel like if I just took an eraser, erased him in every scene, the whole show, right? Nothing or very little would change. Yeah, then it would only be Yuta and then like Rika, but like he just doesn't contribute anything. But whatever. I'd say the two main girls are the ones that shine. Rika Takarada, she has a pretty cool design, and I've known about her forever because of the holy thighs that she got. Because those took off. Because I saw them everywhere, even though I didn't know what it was from, who the character was. Even personality wise, she adds so much more than the two guys. Bit more flavor. She even has like quips. Isn't acting all cringy like Sho. We see her struggling after finding out Akane is the one making the kaiju and is the reason why some of like the classmates are dead or forgotten. And there's just more depth compared to the other two. I'd say Akane Shinjo, she's definitely the star of the show. Kind of just does her own thing, but is quite nice, caring. I believe she's also popular, like in the school. But that's all just a mask because she's basically the god of this world because this world is in her mind and it's like in a dream state. Yeah, so she's like the god of the world. She makes all the kaiju and has them go after people that wrong her for that day. And she was kind of getting manipulated by like this other evil guy. He's like irrelevant though. But yeah, we see her trying to make this world into her ideal fantasy, right? Getting rid of wrong people, wants to get rid of Gridman. She loves kaiju. Growing up, she loved the kaiju more than like the hero. So she wants the kaiju to be loved. We just see her suffering from her loneliness. We see how she like struggles throughout the whole series. She made Yuta to be her boyfriend, like the guy that likes her, and she made Rika to be her best friend. But they're not. They're doing their own thing, trying to stop the kaiju. We also just see how the cast wants to help her, and we get a nice ending with her saying goodbye to it and finally waking up to reality outside of her dream-esque like sequence in the end. And I believe it was like in live action too. So I thought that was a pretty cool ending. Plot wise, it was alright. It was just Gridman the Gridman Alliance, which show calls them, going through the process of like finding out why they're the only city, finding out like why like it was like basically resetting after every kaiju attack, because like let's say someone dies in the kaiju attack and then the next day no one remembers the kaiju except them, and the person that died supposedly died years ago in like some sort of accident, whether it's like a car crash or whatever. So it was kind of cool, and just like figuring out more about what Akane is up to. Like I said in the beginning, it was a lot of fun when the opening started playing during fights. Some of Gridman's power-ups were cool, although some of them also look really doinky by themselves. So there's like 4 support guys. They were very lackluster in character. When like there was only room to process one of them like at full size. And so when like he used one, I think at least 2 of them, if not 3, they just look so Gridman looks so doinky with them. He looks fine with all 4 of them, right? Because it makes him all beefier. But there was this one time where it was just like the leg power up. There's like some trucks and it like added armor to his legs, more power. He looked terrible, bro. Terrible. He has such beefy legs and then such a skinny body, arms, and a small head. Terrible. But once they figured out how to get all 4 of them in, the process looked a lot better. I really enjoyed the fight. That Anti, he's a kaiju that Akane was like controlling, and he wants to kill Gridman, where Anti teams up with Gridman and he becomes Grid Knight. Overall, it was kind of fun watch, as it really is pretty and the action isn't bad, but I was really expecting a bit more. I'll leave it in B tier. I feel like I should put it ahead of One Piece, but I feel like I would watch One Piece like a million times over before watching this. Watching this One Piece special over this a million times over, because I don't know, it's all right. It really is pretty though. I would say it's better than the One Piece thing though. All right, next up is Gakuen Shiroku, which is High School of the Dead. Really fun show. I loved watching this, and now unfortunately I am craving more. First off, I want to say rest in peace, Daisuke Sato, the author. Give him a moment right there. I really liked the opening. Visuals, song was good too. Really set the feel. Endings were all right. I don't really remember the songs, as it changed each episode. I think it kind of had like that Chainsaw Man issue where the endings were mostly forgettable for me because they changed each time, and I didn't get to experience them more than once. Animation was pretty good. I like the art style a lot. Fits the zombie horror feel. Some of the CGI driving though was a bit wonky, but it's whatever. It's 2010, and I really like the aesthetic of like the world and just the whole apocalyptic feel that it had. It made me feel more immersed, and I'm glad they did a good job with that. I haven't really watched any zombie shows, The Walking Dead, or any movies, or like the only other zombie show I can remember I've watched is Zom 100 and like World War Z, and then I played COD Zombies. So other than that, I don't really have any experience with zombie media, so I can't really compare it to much. Characters wise, I really enjoyed the whole cast, or well, most of it, and I thought that was like one of the strong things because I feel like they complement each other a lot. Main guy, his name's Takashi Komuro. He's a fine main character, kind of bland design wise, classic, just school uniform, regular face, and dark hair. Although he kind of has like that, is the word scowl? Yeah, he kind of has like an angry face. He's pretty quick thinking. He wants to protect like his crush Ray and like the group. He does take charge sometimes. He was like the first one to react, and like he went to go get Ray and like her boyfriend to save them. Ray Miyamoto is probably the only one I like dislike in the main group. I didn't really like her pairing with Takashi. I don't know why he can't. I understand why he can't get over her, but I think it's silly. I thought that part was really weak and pretty annoying. from what I remember. I'm trying to like remember what else she irked me with, but nothing's coming up, and I'm just coming up blank. I can't tell if that's just because it was just that, or if it's because that was just so much more bigger than anything else. She was pretty cool, when she was fighting, and like, she had like the staff, or like she took charge with like some guns. She was all right then, but I don't like the pairing. Sayako Busu, Busu, Busujima. She's definitely the best girl. My favorite in the show. Her design is peak. I love her alt design, like when she like gets other clothes from like that military lady's place. Like with the black skirt, boots, so peak. She's usually like all composed, but deep down we find out that she loves like the thrill and killing all the zombies, and it was like nice to see her open up to Takashi about herself. And I like how she doesn't like take crap from others. It's definitely the moment where it's like, I can fix her, bro. I can fix her. but you really can't. You really can't. Shizuka, the school nurse, she was like kind of like Sayako's pair, like when they were at the school. She's fine. I don't really mind her, as like she's like the only adult in the group, so she kind of has a sense of like needing to protect and like take care of the students. But she's also kind of an airhead, I think, which I'm not really fond of the stereotype blonde airhead. She was all right. Lots of fan service from her, but yeah. I also really like the next pair, Koto Hirano and Saya Takagi. Kota is a massive nerd about the military and guns in general, so it was like so much fun just seeing him geek out about different guns or whatever else, because he's like usually docile, gets pushed around by Saya, but when he shoots, he changes. And it's hilarious just seeing how crazy he gets when firing a gun and like just geeking out. I love seeing his growth as it went on. He kind of like takes more of a protector role, like when we get later on in the show. Saya Takagi was also a good character. I enjoyed her dynamics with Kota, and just like when she like reconciled with her parents at the end, it was like really heartwarming. I like seeing her growth too during that little arc. I also really enjoyed the fact that Takashi and the group saved the dog Zeke and the little girl Alice, and they basically joined the group, or like, yeah, adding like more to the dynamic. And we get to see like Saya and Kota basically like take care of Alice, go into that mentor parent role, as like Alice's father died, trying to get them to safety. And plot wise, it's basically them going around trying to survive, find then if to see if their loved ones are saved, like their parents, family, whatnot. And I'm sure there would have been a lot more to the plot if it wasn't cut short, but we don't get that. It's just basically the start of it. The big elephant in the room is the ecchi and the fan service. There was a lot of it, and I enjoyed a lot of it. It was also just so funny seeing some of the like more absurd ones, like the bullet going through Sayako Busujima's like breasts. It goes on one side of one, goes in between, goes on the other. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I'll probably put a clip up. And then just also like Rei or Takashi using Rei as a mount when firing her gun, because like the strap got stuck on her. I thought it was just so funny. And I like how they added the part where she's like, now my chest is like so sore because of the recoil, and just like, I bet that would feel terrible. It's really funny. Definitely a classic, and I'm so glad I watched this. There was also some like really cool side characters I wish we got to see more of if the story went on, like Shizuka's friend, Rika Minami. She's like the dark skinned girl that is like in the military, and like her apartment was pretty cool. Had guns all over. That there was like an armored truck. She was sniping at the airport. I wish we got to see more of her. And then also like Saya's parents. They were pretty cool, although I don't think we would have gotten too much of them if the story went on. Uh, I'm also really happy with what happened to Koichi Shido, the corrupt pervy teacher, as he gets saved by the group and, tries to start taking charge, manipulating them. And I thought he would have more of a bigger role, or there would be a bigger role of like trying to get away from him. But they kind of just like leave, and then, he's like corrupting the other students. Terrible. He comes back to the mansion, like Saya's parents' mansion, when the group gets there. And he kind of just gets kicked out. And he does cause like the whole barricade to fall. So then like the zombies come in and then they have to like fight their way out. But it was nice seeing him not mess with the group too much. And like it wasn't like this big struggle to get away from him. And I'm glad he died. I also wanted to note that each episode flew by. I swear, every episode ended, and I legit thought I only watched half of the episode. I thought it was only that like 10 minutes that passed when the episode ended, and I was just like, "What? I just started. We're only halfway there." Like every episode, and I feel like that's a really big feat. If I feel like I've only watched 10 minutes of anime, but I actually watched the whole episode. So I really wish we got more of the story, and I really wish we got to see like the proper end, and because I really do want more, but I think the manga goes on for like a little bit, but it's not finished, obviously. So unfortunately, won't get to see the ending. I'll probably put it A tier. I don't I don't know if it deserves S tier. Maybe it does. I really enjoyed it, but I think I'll leave it A tier for now. Obviously, I'll probably edit it a little bit at the end. All right, next up is Josee to Tora to Sakanatachi, which is Josee, the tiger, and the fish. Really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. I thought the animation was amazing. I really liked the art style too. It was made by Bones, so of course it's going to be really pretty, and it has that movie budget. Wow. I also like the songs. I don't know. I don't really talk about the songs in in movies because it doesn't usually stick with me as much unless it's like something like Your Name or like Weathering with You. Those had some real bangers. But I believe like one of them was made by Eve. I enjoyed it. I really like both of the main characters. Tsueno Suzuka is pretty typical looking. He works a lot, studying a lot as he wants to go to university in Spain, I believe, and because he wants to like study there and go diving there because he really loves the sea life and diving. And then Josee, she has a pretty cute design, bit of a feisty personality in the beginning as she's kind of like shut out the world other than her grandma, but also like her grandma kind of like shelters her, and she can't walk due to a disability at birth, and her grandma basically hires him to care for her. She really likes art. She draws a lot, creates a lot. I guess I'll just get into their relationship. She's quite cold to him in the beginning, and I just love to see. I love seeing the process of her opening up to him and just experiencing more things in life and enjoying it and just having a fun time with new things. And seeing her befriend like the librarian was so adorable, and like just seeing her reaction to all the sorts of things that he took her to, like especially like the beach scene where they go to the beach. She just looks so happy, and it's just so cute. But of course, you gotta have the drama. So suddenly, grandma passes away, which I'm not surprised by, but it was pretty sudden. It was like, oh, happy go lucky, and then boom, there. It's like the grieving process, and it's just like, wow. So while she has to like deal with the grief of her grandma passing away, Tsueno's coworkers approach her, and the girl Mai, I liked her before. I thought she was all right. She tells her she needs to stop holding Tsueno back, and like I understand her intentions with it, as she herself likes Tsueno and doesn't want him to not pursue his dream and like take care of Josee or just like keep spending time with her, but it's like just mind your own business. That's his decision. Mind your own business. It's not like an abusive thing that's going on, or like Josee is maliciously taking advantage of him, maliciously keeping him attached to her, and like making it so like he feels bad that he can't leave or whatever. There's no malicious intent at all. So I thought it was like really out of line for Mai to say that. And even Hayato, the other coworker, thought that and was like, whoa, whoa, why are you saying things like this? So, we basically see Josee ask for like one final thing before telling him to stop being the caretaker. And they get into like this argument, or after, so I believe they go to the beach, and then after they get into like this argument, and Josee, she rolls away. She gets stuck in the street on like this crosswalk. So he goes to go save her, but he ends up being hit by the car. And I can say I did not see this coming at all. I thought it was, and he ends up in a wheelchair, and I thought that was just so ridiculous. It's like you have her in a wheelchair, right? But then he gets into an accident, and he ends up in a wheelchair himself. But you know what? It kind of makes sense, right? Now that I look at it after the movie, it made sense why they did this, because he brought Josee out of like her locked up heart, brought her back into the world, because like, she was treated poorly, I believe, by just other people because of the disability. But, he brought her out, opened up her heart, and then after he shuts down and is all depressed, we get to see her bring him back out, give him the inspiration to go hard at rehab, to go back to his normal self so then he can pursue his goals. Because I believe like the school was like, we're gonna go with someone else if you can't go. He was just like super depressed, just didn't want to do anything. So it was really cool just seeing Josee make that picture book and deciding to finally be an artist, to pursue her passion, and making that book to help Sueno break free from all the despair. And so, we get to see him get that montage of him going at it at rehab, talking to all the people. And then you get this whole final scene where they think Josee's missing. Like, he gets released and they think Josee's missing. And they all go look for her, right? Like, I believe it's like the librarian, the co-workers, Sueno. And he's the only one that tracks her down because like she went to the zoo to visit a tiger to like face her fear by herself, because she doesn't have a grandma and she doesn't want to hold Sueno back. So she's like, I'm gonna go face my fear by myself. Goes to look for a tiger. He's the only one that tracks her down, and he saves her again from that hill, that hill of death that she keeps getting knocked into. And it was the kiss, when the kiss at the end, it was so adorable. I also love the post-credit scene too, like after he gets back from university at Spain, or like he's like visiting for like spring break or something, seeing them back together. I really love the movie. Such good production, and I can see why it's like a staple classic, even though I believe it came out in 2020, so not too long ago. I probably put it at, I don't know. I really like both of these movies, or both of these stories, but they're like polar opposites. So I feel like it's hard to rank them against each other. I think I like Josee more, and I would rewatch Josee more than High School Dead. I don't know if it's S tier, maybe, but I'll leave it an A for now. Next up is Mugyutto Black Clover. I'm butchering the name bad, which is a squishy black clover. It's like a fine GB short. It's maybe more meh. The most interesting thing is that it has an opening song, like an original opening song, which was, it was alright, but I think the main show had better songs, but the visuals were pretty interesting. It's like a lot of neon colors. I'd say that's the most interesting part, the intro. The main plot is that Asta wants to become the Wizard King, and the Wizard King tells him he needs merit. So Asta and Yuno go to the city to get merit, shouting, "Anyone need help? Anyone need help? We need merit. We need merit." And it's like, that was pretty annoying. Um, and then you get this whole mysterious figure, or well, all the black poles want to help Asta with his merit. But there's like this mysterious figure that starts turning all the Black Bull members into robots. And it turns out it's Sally, right? And she did it all so they can combine and defeat like this awakened monster or something. I I don't know. Honestly, wasn't very funny. I mean, when they combined, I thought maybe I cracked a smile. I think I don't know, but it's pretty boring. It was also really long in the runtime, as I believe it's 64 minutes total, 8 episodes, 8 minutes. And the chibi designs are also pretty derpy. Maybe I'm critiquing this unfairly, as it is just a TV. It's like just a a little short show, chibi show, but there are a couple moments where it's a little endearing. But and I know some of the characters I kind of just want to like pinch their cheeks and like just squeeze their cheeks, but at the same time I really find them annoying. Honestly, it's either C or D. I'll put it in D for now. Next up is Made in Abyss Retsujitsu no Ougonkyou. Messing that up, man. Made in Abyss, the golden city of the scorching sun. Really good season, despite like this type of show not being my type of show. Like, cause I'm not like a super huge fan of like dark or horror type shows, but I do have to admit this is a great series, and I do really enjoy it. Despite that, opening was a lot of fun. I really like the visuals, and the song. I appreciate that it's upbeat, as the show is quite the opposite. It also really just has that adventure feel to it. Ending was good too. I think Myth and Roy did a good job. I don't remember if there was visuals. um, I'm honestly quite surprised that we spent the whole season on the 6th level, as in, because in season 1 they went down I think 4 whole levels in the same length. But at the same time, we are getting into like the more dangerous unknown places, so it does make sense. And like the more unexplored places, because like we're past the point of no return. So story wise, we basically see them exploring the city of Ilblue and discovering more about its people and past, and like everything about it. Character wise, I'll briefly go over the main trio, then go into my thoughts about the new ones. I've honestly never been a fan of Rico. She's alright, I guess, but she's like pretty annoying in my eyes. Reg is alright. I really want to see more into like his backstory, and we got a little bit in this season. And last up is Nanachi. I'm a huge fan of her. She's definitely my favorite character out of the show. I really enjoyed the introduction of Budo Buero Ruko. Budoko. Can't stop butchering. I really like her introduction. I like her character, and I like her design too. I was really disheartened when she got the Abyss Curse and died at the end. She could have joined the little group. I also really enjoyed Faputa. She's got a great design, and she's so adorable when like she's not going crazy with her anger and like revenge. I'm really hoping she joins the crew, but I think it kind of seems uncertain at the end of season 2. I think it'd be good, right? You got Reg the fighter, Rico the leader, Nanachi like the support. Yeah, I feel like she could join, because she got her revenge. She doesn't really have much of a goal left, I think, on the 6th level, so maybe she will. Wazuken and Beloff, they were good too. I loved Beloff's like whole exit when he was like backing up Nanachi in the final battle. I also really enjoyed the flashbacks to like Ureko and like the whole team exploring the abyss and like their efforts on the sixth layer. And it was just really sad seeing how everyone ended up and like what happened like with the whole crew getting sick and like either passing away or getting transformed creatures living inside of Ilblue. It was also really disturbing seeing what happened to Uru Urumiyu and like how she kept having she really wanted to have babies but she couldn't, so she was exiled from her village. She joined the crew, and then we see her get like this wish egg or something, and she gets to start having babies, but they only live for like a day or less than a day, and she like gets transformed into this blob. And then we see Wazuken start killing the babies to feed everyone, and it's so disturbing. This is why I don't like Made in Abyss, or this is why I don't want to say I don't like the show, but this is why it's not my type of show. But it's still really good, and I still enjoy it a lot. But I'm not too deep into the disturbing stuff, man. But I can still enjoy the dark stuff. Production was fantastic. I thought the animation was amazing, and it's just crazy how good the world building is. It's pretty immersive. I do think I like some of the other floors more, like just aesthetically, because I'm not really a big fan of the desert. But I thought just some of the shots are just like so beautiful. Just seeing how the whole city operates. But yeah, world building amazing. I think my favorite part, besides like the fight and the flashbacks, was seeing Reg with Fapta, and we get to see a little bit more of Reg like before he made it to the surface. Probably missing a lot, like with my explanation and thoughts, but I think it was a great season. I do think my favorite part is still uh movie the movie Dawn of the Deep Soul. I don't know if anything's gonna beat that out for me, as I love pretty much everything about the movie, and I like it. It's a really good movie. So I'm gonna put it S tier. I do think it is better than Josee and High School of the Dead. However, I think I would rewatch these these two things way more than this, because I'm not a big fan of the dark stuff, man. But yeah, S tier. It's a really good show. You gotta watch Made in Abyss, man. There's nothing quite like it. Next up is Kyoukai no Kanata number 0 Shinonome, which is Beyond the Boundaries Daybreak. It's a fine OVA, like for a show I don't like. You can see what I thought of the main show in a previous video. I think it's like the first video I have out. Episode is basically a prequel to like how the siblings Mitsuka and Hirorumi meet Akihito. It was cute seeing the younger versions of them, and like how Mitsuki wasn't always disgusted towards Hiromi, or at least like to the extent of like the main show. Akihito was also more likable too, because like I did not like him in the main show, like when he's grown up. Animation's nice. The fights were kind of fun. I really liked seeing Izumi, the Onesan, again. I really liked her design and the character the most. I'm not sure when I'll watch the movies. I don't know if there's multiple that finish off the show, but I'm not really in a rush, as I find this whole thing very boring. And although maybe because the movie I saw that the movie does have like a higher rating, so maybe we'll see. I'm still surprised that they brought Midai back at the end of that show, man. Terrible. C tier, yeah, it's better than Black Clover, man. Next up is Sayonara Watashi no Cramer First Touch, which is Farewell, My Dear Cramer First Touch. It's an alright movie. I didn't realize this was like a prequel movie to the show, and this was like supposed to come out first or something. I have not heard good things about the show, unfortunately. And I also did not realize this was made by the same author who made Your Lie in April. But I definitely see it like with his art, like with the manga art. Same art style, obviously. The story is basically about this girl, Nozomi, who loves to play soccer, and but no matter how much she trains, she gets physically outmatched by the other boys. We see her in the younger years, like she's like the best player among them, is leading them around and like all that. But once she's older, I believe they're 14 in the show or the movie, she got injured playing in an official match because like she got pushed and like she hurt her leg, and now the coach won't put her in outside of like practice, which I understand from the coach's perspective. You don't want your kid to get injured and then like have it repeatedly happen, and then like she can't play at all no matter what. So characters are fine, not really anything special, and I never really got attached to any. Nozomi's alright, I kind of like her. She's always asking to play, trying her best to train, to catch up to the boys, and because like she already has like all the techniques, or like a lot of technique compared to them, but she just gets outmatched because of the difference in strength. And I'm trying like to recall more of her character, but nothing else comes to mind. Like other than her just being like a hard worker, and she's like really determined. The two main guys that are on her team are very forgettable. Tetsuji and Karu. I think one of them or both of them like her, and Tetsuji doesn't want her to play, so because he doesn't want her to get hurt, and but Karu is a bit more supportive of like her playing and like sneaking in. The other main guy is a childhood friend that moved away as a kid and is now back on another team that they're facing. His name's Yasuaki. He is such an annoying brat throughout the whole movie. I didn't enjoy any moment when he was on screen. It was so annoying. Like she ends up playing in the match because she really wants to face him and beat him. So she kidnaps her brother because she has like a twin brother, I think. She kidnaps her brother, ties him up, and like strips him and has him. He's in the bathroom, like just like in a bathroom stall, and then she cuts her hair, gets into his clothes to go play, acting like the brother. Of course, the coach notices it. Eventually, she's kind of getting overpowered and like she's kind of like hogging the ball. She got that ego. Despite her efforts, they eventually lose the match, but she had fun in the end. No, which is important. Having fun playing the game. But I felt terribly bad for the brother. You're taking away that opportunity from him, but he'll be fine, I guess. And I'm pretty sure in like the show, the main characters aren't really the same. It's like Nozomi and like obviously like the new people that we meet, and I'm sure it's like she's on like a girls soccer team now. Pretty sure. I don't know. I don't plan to watch the show because of just how bad I've seen the scores and like what people have been saying about it. I didn't mention it, but I thought the animation like for the actual game was pretty good from what I remember. Like it's at least much better than like Blue Lock season 2. I'm sorry. It's too easy to take shots at it. I feel like she would also be pretty good candidate for like Blue Lock if you like take away the strength difference. Like I feel like she would enjoy Blue Lock. Get that ego. She wants to be a striker. I think I'll leave it in B tier. I thought it was a fine movie. I feel like C makes sense if it wasn't just these sets of shows, because these anime, because I don't know if it deserves to be next to Beyond the Boundary. I mean, I did like it. I'm gonna leave it in C. I think these are my final rankings. It's pretty averaged out. Top and bottom have 1, and then everything else has 2. It's pretty even. I really like these top shows, like these 3: Made in Abyss, Josee, and High School of the Dead. I had so much fun watching them. And then these are alright. And then get this trash down here. So yeah, those are my final rankings. And then just next up is drawings. All right. First drawing is of Nanachi from Made in Abyss. I'm pretty satisfied with how she turned out. I do have a couple gripes with her, but let's just start with the positive. I love how her eyes turned out, or how her mouth turned out, and I also liked how her nose turned out. I wasn't really sure how to do that, as it's just a few lines and then like a little dark spot. But I think that it turned out cute enough. I do like her eyes. However, they are no, I don't think they're like. I think they're a little too square and not rectangular enough. And then they're also a little too level compared to the picture where her face is like kind of leaning. But I kind of just got rid of that dynamic and just made everything level. Unfortunately, I still think the eyes turned out okay. Her little cheek whisker spots, those are adorable. And I do like how the horn turned out. I had a bit of trouble drawing that. And obviously I ran out of space, as you can see from the left side. Not having like the horn or her like left shoulder. I'm not too sure how big of a fan I am of the shading I did. Obviously the horn looks fine, right? But it's like complete black. I tried to add the hat. I colored in the hat to make it obviously not white, because her hair, I wanted to make her hair stand out. So I colored in the hat where it's pink, and then I tried to add shadow of the hat on her hair. Not too sure how that is. And then her fur, again, I wanted to make the shadow and like, or not the shadow, the her hair stand out. So I tried to color in her fur with like a really really light gray, because I didn't want to make it too dark. I'm not sure about the face, but I mean I do like the fur on her like neck down. I think that looks fine. Not too sure about the face still, but and then like the bangs. I feel like the bangs could have been done a little better. They're not they're not as cute as like anime or manga Nanachi, but she looks recognizable. I'm sure if I showed someone, oh, who is this? They would be like, oh, that's Nanachi. I'm really happy with like how the face shape turned out. I'm not sure. I forgot who the creator is, but they have very distinct art, and I wasn't sure how I'd be able to get that down, because like Nanachi's not fully human. She's kind of humanoid, animalish. So I'm happy about that. And then also like the little white spots in her eyes. I didn't like them at first, but they certainly look better now after letting this picture sit in. So yeah, overall decent picture. It, yeah, it's all right. So the next picture is of Sayako Busujima from High School of the Dead. I'm also quite conflicted on this one as well. She took forever just because of how dynamic she was, and I was just like the procrastination. Like I feel like hit twice as hard with her, just because of how much is going on, like with her hair. Like she has her body like twisting, and it's not like just a front picture. Normal pose, all that. There's a lot going on, so I feel like the procrastination just hit twice as hard, maybe even like three times as hard. But I'm pretty satisfied with how she turned out. Again, a couple gripes, mainly with like the shading, and then if as you can tell, like it lost a lot of the sharpness in the art. I try to keep a lot of it, but I mean like if you look like at her right side of the face, that's very smooth when it's a little sharp. And so not sure how much it does look like her now that I'm like looking at like the right side of her face, like with how smooth it is. Yeah, I'm still happy with her. Shading wise, I tried to make her hair darker than like the green parts of her school uniform, And and if you look at the like above her eyes, like her hair, there's like some light gray spots. I tried to add the lighting effect that was in the anime shot, and I'm not sure if that was the right idea or if it would like look better if everything was just shaded in. Cause I also look at some manga pictures, like some shots of in the manga of them to see how they shade it in the manga. She has like white streaks in her hair and all that for like all the lighting, and I'm like, I cannot do that. So I tried that. I tried to keep some spots for like lighting, but I don't know how well that turned out. And I also tried to add shadow on her, like particularly on like the left arm, her breast, and like what is it? Her like torso. I think it turned out okay. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if it how it would look without it because I added it pretty early on. Anything else? Oh, the blood. I think the blood turned out okay. I was just like scribbling the blood. I don't know how I did it, but no, I do think they do at least like the ones on the torso, they look like actual blood spots. Uh, Not too big of a fan of the wooden sword. I don't think that turned out well, and then obviously you can see how far apart the wooden sword is from her chin when in the reference photo it's like pretty close by. Uh, and then obviously didn't give myself enough room, so unfortunately I did not get to complete her left arm or like do her left hand. But I do really love how her right hand turned out. It actually looks like a hand, and but unfortunately it's like connected weirdly, so it looks super weird. But I love how the fingers turn out. All right, I I I was like so happy when I got when I got to that. I mean, I only redo it. I mean, maybe like once, or maybe like some parts just once or twice. But I'm really happy with the hand. Her right arm looks really weird. I I kind of want to redraw her at some point. Maybe like once I actually learn how to draw. Right arm looks weird. Left arm's incomplete. Uh, Her hair was kind of fun to draw. It's like it's going wild out there. Obviously, didn't get all of it because there's like some action with the hair going on in the back, but I didn't have room. Uh, and it does kind of look like her body's twisting, so I'm I'm happy I got that effect. It's not the greatest, but it's all right. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything. I do like her I guess eyes. Well, I tried to add like the transparent hair with the second eye. I don't know how well that turned out, but you can see the eye, hair still colored in. I really like how her eye turned out. I'm not sure about the brow though. The school uniform part, I don't know what it's called exactly, but I mean that turned out all right. Her arm, her arm turned out all right. I wish I did leave enough room so I could complete her full arm and then her hand, because I'm sure if I got the other hand to look as good as the first hand, oh man, I would be loving this piece so much more. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much else to note. I mean, her face, she kind of looks more relaxed and like neutral compared to like her being like locked in and ready. So I unfortunately missed out on that, but I'm still quite satisfied with how she turned out, especially with like my skill level, but it is what it is. So those are my two drawings for January. Next video probably be February's, as I already have it recorded. I just need to edit it and do the drawings for it, which who knows how long they'll take. I'm hoping to get it out in less than a week, or at like a week max, but it really depends on how much I procrastinate on the drawing, because these took a while. Maybe it's because of like how happy I was with Momo and Okarun from last video, or maybe it's just because of like how Busujima was like way more dynamic. But it took me a while, unfortunate to admit that. But so yeah, I'm hoping February doesn't take too long. But yeah, I do want to get winners out soon. I'm hoping it's not a month and a half and it's more like a month, but I do have to do three drawings for that, so who knows. I guess that's all for this video, and I'll see you next time. This is Neapolitan signing out. Bye bye.